What on earth just happened? A man over 40, Cristiano Ronaldo, has once again left the world in awe with a breathtaking, ruthless, and razor-sharp volley. It was a strike so pure it felt as if time itself had never touched his legs. On a night when the pressure was sky-high and the threat of falling behind in the title race loomed large, things got even tenser as Al Nassr conceded a goal late in the first half. The entire AWA Park fell silent for a moment, and then, in the darkest hour, the familiar light shone bright from none other than Ronaldo. One quick passing move, one clinical finish, one unforgettable moment, and just like that, the entire game flipped on its head. While every camera zoomed in on Ronaldo, Al Nassr had endured a frustrating first half. They dominated possession, pinned the opposition back, and created pressure around the box, but Stefano Pioli's men lacked sharpness when it mattered most. Key passes kept getting blocked, and their shots couldn't break down Andreas's rock-solid defense. A one-sided game without a goal is always a dangerous one, and it backfired. In the 45+2 minute against the run of play, Andreas struck first through a rare counterattack finished off by a clinical shot from Fis Selimani. Al Nassr were rattled, but the second half still had 45 minutes of opportunity, and when the tension peaked, class answered. In the 55th minute, Sadio Mane broke free down the left after a slick 1-2 with Brozovic and whipped in a low cross across the 6-yard box. Ronaldo had already begun his run before the ball left Mane's foot, a perfectly timed cut across the defender, followed by a simple tap-in into an open net. 8 minutes later, AWA Park erupted. A chaotic clearance from Andreas's defense landed straight at Ronaldo's feet on the edge of the box. No touch to settle, no time wasted, just a first-time volley with venom and precision. The ball ripped through the air, swerving and crashing into the top corner, leaving the keeper helpless. A world-class goal, not just in technique but in timing, exactly when his team needed it most. His teammates rushed to embrace him while Ronaldo delivered his iconic "See you" celebration with trademark composure. The match ended with a red card for Andreas center-back Ames Assier after a swing at John Duran. Final score, Al Nassr 2, Andreas 1. Ronaldo's 2 goals came just minutes apart, yet they were born from completely opposite moments. One looked so simple it seemed like anyone could have scored it if they were in the right place at the right time. The other was so technically complex, only a select few players in the world could pull it off. But both told the same story, the difference maker that is, Ronaldo, defined by his instincts and intelligence. That equalizer might have looked basic, just a standard link-up between Main and the left flank, ending in a low cross. But the magic was in Ronaldo's movement. No sprint, no clash, no explosive burst, just perfect timing and positioning. He didn't do much, except show up at the exact second in the exact spot, and that's the kind of scoring instinct that comes only from over 2 decades at the top. While Andreas's defenders stood watching, Ronaldo ghosted past them like wind. The right-footed touch wasn't powerful, but it was flawless, just enough to roll the ball gently into the net beyond any chance of intervention. It looked effortless, even easy, but behind it was a deep well of intuition, experience, and reaction, the hallmarks of a true penalty box predator. If the first goal was the embodiment of instinctive elegance, the second, in the 64th minute, was the artwork of a spontaneous genius. A first-time volley from the edge of the box, the kind of technique most players need to carefully set up, adjust their stance for, or even avoid altogether without full confidence. But with Ronaldo, it's a different story. When the ball popped out from a messy clearance, he unleashed a thunderous shot before it even fully touched the ground. The strike wasn't just stunning, it was inch-perfect. The ball soared into the far top corner with spin, power, and pace, following a trajectory that was practically unstoppable. It was so powerful you couldn't even track the ball's flight, only realizing where it ended up once it hit the back of the net. And make no mistake, that goal deserves a nomination for the 2025 Puskas Award, a strike that would be difficult for a 30-year-old to pull off, let alone someone over 40. But then again, Ronaldo has never played by the usual rules. He showed that his physical condition remains exceptional, along with his spatial awareness, balance, and decisiveness. All the qualities he displayed at the peak of his powers are still very much intact. This wasn't the nostalgic swing of a fading legend trying to hold on to past glory. This was a bold statement from a star who refuses to leave the center stage. 2 goals, one the result of experience, the other a loud declaration that true class never fades. Both brought football's most valuable currency, goals. But more than that, they served as a reminder to everyone that no matter how many seasons pass, Cristiano Ronaldo remains the man capable of doing what no one else can. And every time he does it, you can't help but check your watch, wondering if you're watching an old highlight from his Manchester United, Real Madrid, or Juventus days. But no, this is the present. And the present still belongs to Ronaldo. The win over Andreas wasn't just about 3 points. It was a thunderous counterpunch from Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League title race. With 57 points after 27 rounds, they've now closed the gap to second-placed Al Hilal to just 1 point. The gap to leaders Al Hilal remains at 8. Not small, but hope is still alive with 7 games left to play. What matters most now is the mentality. Coming from behind in the second half, against a disciplined and tactical side like Andreas, thanks to 2 moments of magic, has reignited the spirit of a true title contender. Their upcoming schedule will be a serious test of that ambition. Al Nassr head to Al Qasiyah on the 19th, a pivotal clash ahead of the final stretch. If they can extend their winning streak and capitalize on Al Hilal's recent slump, 2 straight draws, the door to a late-season comeback remains wide open. That moment when Ronaldo raised his arm after the wonder strike wasn't just an emotional outburst. It was a signal to the entire squad. When the captain is still pushing forward with that kind of fire, the whole machine keeps moving. It's hard to believe he's 40 when you watch him play. No longer the blistering sprinter that used to push defenses back in fear, but a more refined, calculated, and ruthlessly efficient version of himself. In just the last 5 matches across all competitions, Ronaldo has scored 7 goals, a scoring rate that even many strikers in their 20s would envy. More impressively, those goals often come when the team is struggling or trailing, meaning Ronaldo doesn't just score, he changes the game. Even without the ball, he moves smartly, stretching defenses and opening up space for players like Mane and Brozovic to exploit. When the team needs to press, he tracks back with the energy of a box-to-box midfielder. His presence on the field forces opponents to stay alert and gives teammates a reliable focal point when the going gets tough. This is no longer just the Ronaldo who scores goals. This is a Ronaldo who orchestrates the entire system, who sparks the fire for the whole team. That's why the match against Andreas felt like a short film capturing who Ronaldo is now. No noise, no flash, just pure leadership and the kind of performance that demands respect. When the final whistle blew at All Park, you could see a wave of relief wash over manager Stefano Pioli's face, and in his eyes, a spark of renewed belief. Not because they beat a mid-table side, but because of how they did it, going down, under pressure, then rising with a brace from the oldest player on the pitch. That's the DNA of a champion, something Al Nassr had lacked in key moments this season, and now they've rediscovered it in the most convincing way. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't need constant praise every time he scores, but every time he does something that defies belief, even the skeptics fall silent. Because in the end, football always has room for stories that break every rule of logic. And a 40-year-old volleying from outside the box? That's how Ronaldo keeps writing his story in his own legendary way.